Okay, it's Malcolm here, and in this overview I'm going to show you how I can use Sage and use Sage to help me investigate the 4-number problem. So here is the notebook interface for Sage running on my PC. I've actually downloaded this and got it running on my PC. You'll see something similar if you run through your web browser. If you're running through an app, you'll probably only just see one cell. But in this case, let's start off with our worksheet. So I want a new worksheet. And I want a name, so let me call it investigation. There's my new name. And so here's my worksheet called, or notebook called investigation, and here's my first cell. And what you do is you click in the cell and you can do anything that you want to do in there. So for example, you can use it like a calculator. You could go something like 2/3 plus 3/4, and then you can either press the evaluate key or you can hold the shift key and enter And there you can see it's giving me the exact answer, 17 on 12. If you wanted to, and one of the nice things about Sage is you can actually give your calculations a name. So for example, if I call that A, and then I come down here and say, okay, what's the value of A? It's 17 on 12. So from now on, to refer that calculation, I can just use A. Now, the other nice thing about Sage is that here, what can I do with this calculation? If I go dot and then press the tab key, here are all the things that Sage thinks it can do with A. And as you can see, there's an awful lot of things in there. Now the one I'm going to choose out of all of those, and after a while you get to learn which ones do which, but this one, I'm going to choose A.N. Now, N will tell me how many digits to return, but if I now press the question mark, it'll give me some details on how to use that particular N function. Here is A.N, and then I can either type in precision or digits, and it returns a numerical approximation with the least precision bits or the number of digits. So I can come up here and go, look, digits equal to 10, and it will return A with 10 digits. If I wanted 50 digits in my answer, I just change that to a 50, and so on. So that's very nice. That's an easy thing to do. The other thing that Sage can do, of course, is algebra. It doesn't just do arithmetic like your calculator. It can do algebra. So just say I had something like this. Just say I had x plus 2 all squared times x plus 1. And if I press the shift enter key, it'll just tell me what I've typed in. And in fact, if I come up here and click typeset and do that again, it'll actually show me that nicely typeset. So there's, just say I had to multiply that out for some reason. Let me make life easy for myself and call this B. So there's B. And in fact, if I go colon B, it'll show me what B is. Now I can go B dot, and in this case, one of the things I can do is expand. And there it is, I can expand B. I could also, Sage is funny like this, I can do everything with the dot, but on a lot of the commands you can actually do it this way. You can go expand B as well if you wanted to. So let me call that C and go expand B, shift enter. Oh, I didn't tell it to show me C, show C. And there it is. There's C. Now I can go C factor, and that'll hopefully factorise x cubed plus 5x squared plus 8x plus 4. And there it is. And so on. And you can do a whole lot of algebra things. So that's enough of an introduction. Let's get on here and do the 4-number problem. I guess the other thing in here, if I want to delete a cell, just delete it like that. That's an easy thing to do. And so on. Since I don't want any of these in this particular notebook, I'll get rid of them all here. But now let's go and say, okay, I want to calculate some numbers. Now, in here, let's put a few comments in. So when I highlight, there's a purple line. If I hold the shift key and left click, then in here I can put a heading like the 4-number problem, and again I've held the caps key down, and then I say, right, I want that to be a heading. There's the 4-number problem. Let me put in another little comment in here. I like my font size to be 14 just because I can see it a bit easier. Let's calculate a few numbers in here. And so this way you can actually, when you come back, you can see what you've done. So in here, what I might do is, let me call the first number m. So let's start with m equal to 1. And now I press enter without hitting the shift key. It just puts a new line in. So now I'm going to calculate m times the next number, which will be m plus 1, times the next number, which will be m plus 2, times the next number, which will be m plus, m plus 3, and then add 1. And if I hit the enter key, there it is. So 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 plus 1 is 25. If I do that for 2, 121, do it for 3, and so forth. So there is my calculations done very easily. But I can even do better than that, because I can actually program Sage. So I can do something like this. I could go for m in the range 1 to 20. Oops, 1 to 20. Now, calculate that. And now if I hit the shift, okay, there are my answers. 25 right down through to 175,561. And so just by changing this range here, I can calculate as many as I like. And so as you can see in there, it hasn't solved the problem for me, but it's certainly done a lot of the drudgery of calculating the numbers. Now I can look at the numbers and see what patterns I can see. And interestingly, I didn't see this, but one person pointed out to me, so let me just put it in here. Oops, I entered a new cell. I wanted to enter a new text box. So here we go. So let's go here. Notice that when, if I put this in dollar signs, it actually prints out quite nicely. So notice that when n equal to 3, the left hand, what do we get? The number that we get, the number is, and it's 361, which is 19 squared in there. And notice that the number is 9 squared, and the other thing to notice is that 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 1, that is equal to 19. So that's rather unusual. So is this a fluke, or does it happen for some other numbers? So let me just change that. So for what values of n, I've got n in there, that should be m, shouldn't it? Let me just edit that box in there. That when n is equal to 3. Okay, so let's check it out. So let's have a look in here. So the number we calculated, let me just come up here. It was this, and put it in here. So now when does that equal? In here, m plus n plus 1 plus m plus 2 plus m plus 3 plus 1, and I'll need that all squared. Now let me hit the shift enter key. So in here I've just typed in an equation at this stage, and I just want to check what it looks like. And here's one of the problems we have with Sage. It gives me this not particularly useful error sign. It says can't assign to operator. Now in this case it comes down to the fact that in here the equals is what we use to assign a value to a to a name, whereas we really want this to be an equation. I was trying to type in here, so I actually have to put 2 equal signs. So that's just one of the things that you've got to learn, unfortunately. But now when I do it, oh, okay, now in this case, it's remembered m from up here, and it said when I put it in that equation, it's not true. But I just wanted this to be an equation all by itself. So what I need to do in here is I need to say I want m to be a variable, not what we had before. So now when I do that, there it is. There's my equation typed in. Now what I might do up here is I'm going to give this equation a name. So let me call it e cubed for equation. There it is. And now what can I do with equations? Well, one of the things I can do is I can solve that equation for m. And here we go. Now doing that by hand, of course, is hard work, but doing it by Sage is dead easy. Here are the answers. M equal to 3, we knew that was going to be an answer. M equal to -2, well, we're not looking at negative values for m. And here are some other funny values for m for which it works. So in fact, out of all the numbers we were looking up here, m equal to 3 is the only one where this happened. So yes, that was indeed a fluke. So you can see in here having Sage saves you so much time and effort. I mean, you could have done this by hand, but you'll do a whole lot more maths if you know Sage or a computer algebra system and can use that to help you. Okay, we'll leave it at that.